Congratulations! If you're looking at this page, you successfully made it through the end of the semester. While you're celebrating the moment, let me introduce you to the next steps. If you're new to art and would like to learn more, I certainly recommend Art 130 2D Design. You will learn the basics of visual communication, how to communicate your ideas with lines, shapes, and colors. This is an introductory course for the graphic designers, and it goes hand in hand with Art 129 Fundamentals of Color. If you enjoyed projects 1, 4, and 5, you might also enjoy graphic design classes. Graphic design is a perfect companion to any major. As a small business owner, you can create your business cards, brochures, and flyers. In Art 143, you will learn how to publish Myriad magazine and digital books. This class will give you the skills to publish your character story. If you would like to strengthen your Photoshop skills, I recommend Art 142 Digital Photography Fundamentals. If you enjoyed Project 2, you will most likely enjoy the illustration classes. Art 153 with Professor Ewing is here for you. If you enjoyed Project 3 animation and videos, then Art 145 is here for you. You can develop your story further into a movie.
Let's go.
You will also enjoy motion graphics classes with Professor Joy Curtis and 3D animation with Professor David Turner. Drawing skills are essential for both animators and illustrators. That's why it's very important to take drawing classes before attempting Art 145 or Art 129. So, let me introduce you to the wonderful faculty in our drawing department.
Hello, my name is Joe Hardesty. I'm one of the faculty members that teach Art 110, Drawing Fundamentals, and I want to just share really quickly a few things about the class to give you some idea of what the class covers and why you might choose to take this class. Drawing Fundamentals, as the name implies, is focused on drawing. You don't have to know anything about drawing when you sign up for the class. You could draw stick figures and we will teach you how to draw. That is the goal of the class. You're not expected to come in with any sort of pre-knowledge, right? But through this class, you will develop your skills. We're going to learn about materials. We're going to learn about techniques. So you'll work with things like charcoal, graphite, ink. You'll learn concepts and techniques around the idea of value and light and dark, line. You'll learn about space and the development of deep space and shallow space and perspective, mark making, different things like that, right? This class is an excellent part of the foundation for anyone who intends to do anything visual related, right? So it might not be that you want to be an artist that draws, but you want to be a sculptor, or you want to be a photographer, or you want to be a fashion designer. All of those classes, or all of those disciplines require some amount of drawing as a kind of foundation to build on top of. Not to mention people who want to be painters or animators or illustrators, right? all of those things, starting with drawing is a great way to sort of build up to those skills. In the art department, especially in the painting and drawing area at our school, beginning drawing or drawing fundamentals, Art 110, is a requirement or a prerequisite before you can take some other really cool classes. So it's another great class to take because you need it before you can take like painting or life drawing or things like that. In addition to materials and techniques, we also cover content and concept, which probably is something that gets covered in all of your art classes, hopefully. But here we want to make sure that we're not just learning how to draw, which is really important, and that's the main focus of the class, but it's why to draw. Well, how do we make meaning from this skill? And how do we take this skill and create something that blows people's minds and that's really cool, right? So I hope you consider signing up for the class. I think it'll be definitely worth your time. It's an exciting and dynamic class, and I hope I get to meet you in person. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Thomas Kidd, teaching drawing fundamentals. You'll see behind me, there's my studio. I will be doing the demonstrations in here, and this is where I make my artwork. I've been exhibiting in LA since 2004 as far as large shows go, major shows in art galleries. So here we start with quick drawings. You'll see lots of lines to get to where you want to be, and the sooner you get the first impression, the sooner you get to your more accurate lines. Oops. And then value drawings, filling in shapes around the shapes and adjusting the shapes by filling around them, getting the light and dark to create that three-dimensional illusion. Again, three-dimensional illusion, but this time using linear perspective where the lines are coming down and heading as they head into that space if they're above your eyes, and below they come up. Ink drawings, using a stick and some diluted ink with a brush. The stick makes these nice little lines, the brush makes that nice smooth area. You can use the side of the stick to make these more charcoal-y kind of looking marks. It adds a bit of texture to the mark. That's a lot of fun to do with ink. Drawing your hand with ink and the curved lines in the creases of your hand to show the form. And then doing something similar with the creases in the tree trunks, except using smooth areas of charcoal and white pastel and compressed charcoal for the lines. In the deep space, the contrast gets soft and the edges get soft. Making self-portraits. First, we'll do some in black and white and then in color. First, you put down this color environment, and then you place yourself in there and you show those colors reflecting in there. So that creates a more kind of vital look to the portrait. We're not really like wood. There's more hues bouncing around and off of us. And then we'll work from a collage that you create. So this is your composition, your world. So that's what we do, and that's the end of our class. So with that project, the collage that you make a drawing from. So if that sounds good, I'll be here teaching that in the fall, and have a good summer.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny Phelps and I am the instructor for life drawing in fall of 2020. You can see my email here, jphelps@elcamino.edu, if you have any questions or need to contact me in advance of taking the class. Life drawing is figure drawing, as you can see here, and we have multiple sections. If you've already taken Art 217, which is Life Drawing 1, we will also be offering 218 and 218B, which are the next levels of life drawing. Now you might be wondering, how can we do life drawing or figure drawing when we are doing online instruction? And what I'm really happy to tell you is that I am experienced in online instruction. I've been teaching online for 13 years now, including life drawing. And the images I put in here are all images from this semester, except for the next slide, which was before we went online. So the way that I'm going to be running these life drawing classes, we will be doing asynchronous instruction. That means that you will be able to, I'm going to give you a week of work at a time. We'll run discussions that you'll participate in on Canvas. And within that week, you'll have deadlines, but you get to choose when you get the work done. So rather than our class being from 2 to 5 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you'll have, for example, a deadline on a Thursday, and up until that point, you can decide whether you want to work at midnight or whether you want to work at 9 o'clock in the morning. So we'll be running this asynchronously. Now that still allows us for lots of interaction. So I'm a very active teacher. I will be giving you audio-visual feedback on your work throughout the week, and we have very robust discussions in this class that give you lots of feedback. I also hold Zoom meetings once a week as optional office hours, so there's lots of ways to communicate with me and get my personal attention during the class. So we do week to week of scaffolded learning. I know a lot of these images maybe look intimidating in terms of how powerful they are, but keep in mind that we take it slow. We start off with the basics and build into being able to make drawings like this. In terms of how we get our source material for working online, I have a whole repository of virtual models that we can work from, and there are lots of resources I can point you to on the web. You can also work with drawing yourself in a mirror or other people who are around you as well. So this is the one image that I said was from not online instruction, just because this was before we went online. But you can see how we start off with basic sorts of proportions, stick figures, basic shapes. We cover things like the skeletal structure, so you can see how that operates with the figure. And then I am a big proponent of learning different ways of drawing. And so the things that you do in beginning drawing, all of those skills that you learn will be foundational to what we do in this class, and we'll revisit them with the figure as a subject. So this is an example of different kinds of drawing approaches that we work with, and I think of those as different ways of seeing and thinking. We also, once we've got the basics of the human form in, then I go week by week and we learn about all of the different specific anatomy details of the body. So we cover things like hands and feet, legs and arms, torsos, portraits, and so that way you have the opportunity to explore all of those little details and then pull them back into fully completed, really refined figure drawings. We use a variety of materials: graphite, Conti, charcoal, ink, and we also use color. We look at different expressive ways of using material to articulate the figure. And one of the cool things that I found this semester when we've made this online transition is there are a lot of things that we can do online that we can't do in our normal classroom. So for example, we have the ability to have models who are doing acrobatics. We have the ability to do figures that are interacting, different kinds of perspectives than we would normally do. Figures doing facial expressions that we could not get a model in front of us in class to be able to hold their face in that particular way for that long. We're looking at figures in motion, which is great for animation, if you're interested in that. Figures in different life stages, for example, pregnancy, which is a really special thing to be able to represent. So this class is great if you are interested in animation, illustration, in fine arts. It's a really good class for giving you really nice portfolio pieces if you're looking to transfer, for example, as well. And so join us. I have the different sections that I'm teaching here. All of the life drawing classes I am teaching this fall. So sections 5169 and 5170 for Art 217 and so forth for the higher levels. Again, those have time slots listed in them, so they have to work with your schedule, but I will be running the instruction asynchronously, which means that you will just have your work to do within certain deadlines within the week, but you won't actually have to be physically in a specific place for those 3 hours, 3-hour chunks that are listed on the schedule. If you have any questions about that, again, my email is at the very beginning here, jphelps@elcamino.edu, and I look forward to working with you in the fall.
There are many more classes available in our art department. Please take time to explore them.
Hi, I'm Thomas Kidd, teaching painting, Art 222, 223A, 223B. So this is where you'll see me do my demonstrations. I make paintings in here, as you can see. And what we do in the class, we start with black and white painting, and then this is the first color painting. So it's a black box in a color environment about reflected color. You do all this mixing the paint carefully first, only using the paint knife. Then we use all the tools with the brushes, doing still lives, 6 images of still lives that you can choose from or set up your own. This one has a more intense saturation in the background, which makes a beautiful entrance into the painting. Then we do a palette impression painting, which means we mix all this paint on the palette and then mash it on the canvas. And from that, we fire up our imagination. And that's done on a canvas that already has one general color. That is another process, the landscape. So lots of color on top of color, working your way toward the foreground with the paint knife to create some of those beautiful sharp edges in the foreground and soft edges in the background. Then self-portraits, beautiful pattern, getting less intense as you go further back. Here's one from a palette impression type of background. Miriam really allowed that color around her to reflect into the color on her face. We tend to underestimate the hues in our face. Then we work from a collage. So you're creating your own world as a model, this collage, and make a painting from that. There's another one. And another one. So you can create some wild worlds, whatever kind of world you want. An advanced student doing a portrait of Elon Musk, a bit on the nutty side. And then he did, so this is a 3rd semester student, sewing into the canvas even, so an experimental painting with a bit of a collage element of the FBI up there. And another advanced student, a family member in a gown. So if this looks appealing, or if you have questions, tkidd@elcamino.edu, and I'll answer your questions. Have a good summer, and hope you find some things to pick out that you like.
Whenever you are ready to create your portfolio or business website, Art 146 is here for you. You will learn coding, strategic thinking, and visual communication required of both graphic designers and business owners. To get hired or to sell your product, you need a website. I hope to see you again in the future semesters.